Well, as a matter of fact, it's not just Saudi Arabia, but most of the Gulf countries have a Vision 2030, and all of these visions aim to diversify the economies away from oil and gas and changing the composition of the economy to meet the needs of the Arab economies, the Gulf economies, to meet the aspirations of the youth. And to build more resilience. It's very important to understand the transformation that's happening not just in the region, but the global transformation that's happened as a result of the three major crises that the world has faced: the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID crisis, and more recently the energy and commodity crisis related to the Russia and Ukraine conflict. All of these have convinced the majority of the world, especially the US, China, Europe, everybody else, that the form of globalization that we've pursued over the last 3 decades is unsustainable. And now we're transitioning to what looks like three major hubs of globalization: one controlled by the US and North America, repatriating strategic technologies and building sort of self-sufficiency, and not just in terms of food and energy, but also in terms of manufacturing capabilities. Western Europe is the second hub, and they're explicitly talking about technological sovereignty, food sovereignty, and energy sovereignty. And of course, the third hub will be in Asia, dominated by China. So it's very important for the rest of the world, especially for the Middle East and North Africa region and African continent as a whole, to think about where do you reposition yourself in this new geopolitical and economic map. Do you want to continue to be a satellite to a particular dominant set of countries, or do you want to reposition yourself as a strategic partner with the rest of the global economy? And it looks like these three hubs have very different views on how to interact with the rest of the global south, with the Middle East. And it looks like China has the most attractive approach from an Arab, from a Gulf state perspective, in terms of building a partnership as equal partners in terms of complementarities of strategies on a comprehensive set of issues, as opposed to hierarchical and single kind of focused strategy focused only on you give us energy, we give you security, and there's nothing else that happens there. Just as a point of comparison, in terms of, I'll be the third person here to highlight how historic this meeting is, this gathering is, in terms of its potential impact. Comparing the grandiose welcome and setup for this gathering, comparing it to Biden's visit to Saudi Arabia, what some people refer to as the fist bump meeting, that just speaks more than 1,000 words, as some people say, in terms of how much of a shift we're seeing in economic and geopolitical relations due to all of these transformations that are happening. So for Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, Vision 2030 is very important for that new repositioning, very important for diversifying the economy away from oil. And China seems to be the right partner with the BRI initiative, Belt and Road Initiative, which revives an old historic trade route between the two regions, the Silk Road, essentially, in a modern, contemporary economic setting.